What's up, ladies and gentlemen? If you are joining me tonight, thank you so much. I look forward to some of your comments and everything tonight on the Real Estate Happy Hour. This is a live version. It will be recorded if you miss it. It will be on YouTube, Facebook, and everywhere else that I do it. There will also be clips and reels. So the other night or the other day, I posted a graphic, this one here, about America's most and least trusted professions. And I was really shocked because it wasn't the first time I saw this. I saw that real estate agents were really, really low as trusted professionals. And I know that me personally, I've done everything that I can to change that image or to change that perception about real estate agents. I know I've been in sales pretty much all of my adult life, and I know how people feel about salespeople. And so I've always tried to be ethical, above board, not do it for the money, but just do it for the love of it, no matter what I was selling. And I've sold computers in Best Buy. I've sold cell phones for Verizon. I was a pharmaceutical representative. I've done so much sales, and I've always just tried to be above board, tell the truth, and do what was right for the customer. And then most of the real estate agents, if you're watching this, you guys that are out there, I've seen nothing but ethical behavior from you guys as well, and you always are looking out for your clients. So why is this the perception, and why are we so low? And when I asked that question on Facebook, a lot of you chimed in and you did respond to the post, and so thank you for your comments. We are going to look at a lot of those comments anonymously. We're not going to put anybody on blast, but you all had some great ideas and you had great thoughts. So I'll be right back and we'll get right into this show. This is the Real Estate Happy Hour, and I'm your host, Chris Wright. It's a fun place where we talk real estate, pop culture, and what's trending. Hey, I might even give you some good advice, so grab yourself a drink, sit back, relax, and take a listen. Unless you're driving, of course. I'll see you guys on the other side. All right, so we are back. Thanks a lot if you are joining us live. I will be taking your comments, and I'll be looking at that as well. But once again, we're talking about real estate agents as one of the least trusted professions. And I really don't understand why, but I did look at a lot of your comments and concerns about our industry, and I wanted to kind of touch on that a little bit. Yeah, we're going to look at some of the things that some of you said in the comments, and then we'll pretty much go from there. So I want to start off with this one because I thought this was a good one. Matt, he said, data is a beautiful thing. So it's never good to, I mean, you don't want to hear it, but it's always good to learn in public perception about your job, your industry, and why things are as they are. So even if it's negative, you can take a lot from it. But he said, data is a beautiful thing. There's a lot you can take from this. One of the first things I would do is start marketing against people's fears. The whole, and we don't want to put a name of a company out there, but he said in the comment, the whole puppies and babies not included BS was to make them seem trustworthy and family oriented. Someone said, Chris, you should get a dog. But I thought that was funny. But what I did take away from that is the fact that um, you can look at data like this and say, wow, if that's the perception, how can I change that? What do I need to do different in my business and in my marketing? How I post on Facebook, and just, we really, really, really have to sell the value of what we do in my industry. And a lot of times that is not done. So I'd like to know your thoughts on that, or not even your thoughts, but how are you currently marketing, or how does your public perceive you as a real estate agent, if you are one, or in any sales environment? So just make sure that that's something that you change if that's the perception. Here's one that says, my first real estate broker lied to me and caused me to pay about $20,000 more than I should have. And since then, I've seen brokers cover the entire spectrum from honest to pants on fire. Those few in the latter group hurt the reputation of others. And it's true. You got to think about when you're out there doing things that aren't above board, if you're doing things that you think I might can get away with it once, or maybe I'll fudge something on a contract, or maybe I'll tell them something and I'll never get caught. I do know companies out there, that the National Association of Realtors, they have testers out there. New York, NISAR, they have testers. And you want to make sure that, knowing that there's testers out there in the field, that and now you don't want to just do the right thing because there's testers, but they are out there. So you want to make sure that you are always doing the right thing, but you also hurt the industry. One bad realtor in our industry can hurt it for a lot of us, and this is why a lot of people don't want to use us. They just they rather go to websites like Zillow and Realtor.com and Redfin and search for their houses themselves, and try to do as much of the transaction as possible without a realtor. So you want to just keep that in mind. The next comment we're going to look at now, Sherry was a realtor. She's since retired from the industry, but she said, I haven't worked in real estate in 5 years and I won't do it again. I will say that one reason I believe agents aren't trusted are other agents, their irate comments on social media. Almost daily, I see comments as a remnant of my former career. She says she's friends with about 100 agents or hundreds of agents, and they always talk about how unprofessional other agents are. And I swear, she is spot on. I've seen this so many times where agents will disparage the industry themselves. Talk about, why are so many agents not doing this or doing that? When you talk like that, people who aren't in our industry, they listen to you. And she ends it by saying, but you should trust me because I'm not like the other guys. Think about that. You're saying you're not like other agents, and you are an agent. So I know in our area alone, if you're watching this nationally or in other states, correct me if I'm wrong, anyone, but I think there's about 4,000 licensed agents here, and it only takes one or two bad apples to ruin the whole bunch. So we just have to be careful about how we present ourselves on social media, um, how we how we talk about ourselves and our industry. Where is my phone? Because someone just sent me a message, but that's all right. I'll get back to that. But anyway, we just have to be really, really careful about how that looks. All right, what's another good comment here? Same person. Oh, basically, this is all blacked out because I was trying to keep things private. But she was saying that when she was in the industry, in so many words, that she didn't see it. She didn't see a lot of the disparaging comments and how they affected our industry. She noticed it after she got out and became part of the general public, after she became on the other side as a client, or just someone observing social media and then just watching how real estate agents interact with the public and how they market themselves and how they comment about things. And that she said, it was just left a bad and sour taste in her mouth, that she could never, ever go back to that industry, which is really disheartening. I left the industry full time for about 8 to 9 months, and I missed it immensely. And I can't imagine not wanting to be in it because I just didn't like it anymore, or because I was disheartened by the behavior that I've seen. So, yeah, here's another one. So this one said, because most agents try to be an expert at everything, same as lawyers, same as bankers. And I just talked about that today on a reel, that sometimes we try and do too much. We try to meet a customer and say, I can do everything from, and if you're doing it out there, this is not to disparage you, but I can do everything from stage your home to give you information on inspections, or to give you information on contracting and HVAC and air conditioning, all that kind of stuff. You try to be the expert on everything as opposed to staying in your lane. And because of that, sometimes we give bad information. So we want to make sure that we're always giving proper information. And if you don't know, refer it out. The person that said this, I said, you know what? If that's not my lane, I just refer it out. I'm not going to try and be. I'll tell you a recommendation, and I'll give you like surface knowledge on something. But to me, it's much easier to just say, "Hey, I know a guy or I know a girl, and she's really really good at this, and I want to make sure that I get you the right answers and the right help." So spot on. I'm not going to talk about lawyers and bankers because I don't know enough about that industry to speak on it. But again, these are raw comments from people. That's why I redacted their names, so we don't know who the full name is. So if that's how you feel about lawyers and bankers, so be it. But I wanted to put that out there. All right, let's go. Let's look at another comment. Mark says the perception of the job and the people associated with it. Um, you see the professions at the top are medical and public service. He's talking about the survey that I just showed you. I'm going to skip that. I'm going to go back down to something that he says that's really important. I think it was HGTV and social media has reinforced this perception by showing only the highlights and the good parts. So yeah, like Selling Sunset, Million House Hunters, all these shows show the good and easy side. And if you watch House Hunters, the secret behind that is that the house has already been sold and closed. So in 30 minutes, they can show you what that's like. And people actually watch this program and say, I want to be a real estate agent. But we all know that real estate, the industry, it's not a 30-minute transaction. So what else did he say here? He goes, let's be honest, those who take the time to complain and light up an agent in various venues are the ones who have been wronged, not the client that had the difficult closing or where the agent navigated numerous landmines and everything worked out. So, more often than not, things go right. It only takes a few times for things to go bad. And that's where people kind of give us a bad name or they don't trust us. I see your reviews. I see your Zillow reviews, agents, when you put them up. People really trust you. They care about you. They say you're the best, you're the bomb. And I love to say that I love collaborating with you and cooperating with you. So I usually see all the good. I don't see the bad. And when the bad usually happens, like the ones that go to arbitration or mediation or you getting sued or the things that go to errors and omissions, that's not the stuff you usually see, but that's the stuff that makes the media. Okay. So that was a good comment, Mark. Thank you. All right. What's next? We got Tracy, who is an agent. She said, I'm going to skip down to the second paragraph because she said some comments about other industries and I don't want to talk about that. But she goes, as far as real estate goes, there is a good and not good in every job, which is true. I have heard some recent nightmare stories of new and part time agents. Real estate is not easy. She's in 3 years, definitely not easy. She says she prides herself in being honest and straightforward, like most of the agents that I know. And I crossed out a word there, but she said, I don't do high pressure sales. I don't bug people that aren't interested. So, yeah, and that's most of the agents that I come across. Um, they're really really good agents and they really try and do the right thing. They really try and look out for their clients, and their clients are a job one. So that's most of the people that I know and come across. And all of us, we just have to change this perception about being one of the least trusted. All right, Gary, he said, my wife and I were interested in a house with an in-law apartment in Cohoes that was for sale years ago. It was by appointment only. And while we were being shown, a woman came walking in and being attended to um, by the realtor that was supposed to be dealing with us. So what that said was a realtor was they were with their realtor. Someone else walked in the door. I guess they started asking questions. They wanted to know more about the house, and that agent probably immediately start thinking, "Oh my God, I can get two customers." Greed, a little bit of greed set in, and it's situations like that that will make people think poorly about us. Um, take a sip of water, but yeah, it's situations like that that will make people think poorly about us and how we do our business. Needless to say, he said, we left. I was very upset, as anyone might imagine. And thankfully, she is probably the exception, not the rule. And she is. What she should have probably done is told that client, I'm so very sorry. I'm showing these people this house. Um, you should probably find another real estate agent. Because here's another thing, the people that you with and you're showing them that house, if they show interest, do they think you're going to turn around and call that lady and try to also show her the house an hour later? You need to be 100% dialed into those customers and tell that lady she can, go somewhere else and probably find an agent at that time. And you're not going to kill two birds in one stone. It's just not a good look. So sorry, Gary, that happened to you. That's not the way it normally works. All right. What we got here? Jason, he said, I think for the real estate, it's because of the paycheck. 100% depends on the sale. So that's the problem we have with commission sales. Everybody knows we're commissioned. It's no secret. And they, a lot of people just automatically think, I don't trust agents because they just want the commission. I think that is a hard perception to shake, but you have to do it by communication and by just constantly sharing information with the client, sharing information with the customer, letting them know whatever questions you have. I'm not in a rush to close this deal. I'm not in a rush to sell you a house because despair stinks. You can smell it. It's sweat beads coming off your head. I really need to sell. I really need to sell. So you want to make sure that that's not you. Again, and this is whether you're selling insurance or real estate or any commission job, cell phones or pharmaceuticals, that you just never look desperate like this sale is going to make or break your rent or mortgage at the end of the month. All right. Um, so he said this is his opinion. He goes, I never did that, and I don't. He doesn't do it as a remodeler. So good job, good point, Jason. I appreciate that. Jason chimed in again. No, that was another one. Here we go. We got Brian here. Brian is a real estate agent, and you'll see after I read this comment, he's also a school teacher, and he was talking about the list. If we look back at the list, I think teachers were highly trusted. Okay, they're up there. So he's a teacher, but he's also down here as a real estate agent. So he said, I've seen this before. It's very interesting. I suppose if the perception is that the profession relies on persuasion, which it does, then there's always the possibility that the professionals are being deceptive. People don't trust mechanics. People don't trust car salesmen, and people don't trust anybody who depends on a check or have to persuade someone to get paid. People like, believe it or not, hourly waged people because they have nothing to lose. Quick story. Back in the early 2000s, I used to work at Best Buy. And I don't know if you remember this, but in the early days, all over Best Buy, whether you were computers or appliances or electronics, no matter where you were, everybody in the store were commissioned salespeople. And they would try and sell you accessories, and you would buy a computer, and next thing you know, you weren't just walking out with the computer, but you were walking out with extra mouse pads and extra hard drives and all kinds of crap, because I was actually um, the sales manager, and I taught them to add on accessories. That was the job. When you go to Verizon to buy a phone, they don't want you to just leave with the phone. They want you to leave with a car charger and a case and a screen protector. So that's just kind of the way it is. So since so many people have been duped over by that, even in the HVAC industry, you just can't. buy a new furnace, but you got to buy the service plan, the extended warranty, filters, and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of people just are tired of it, and they just want to leave with what they bought. They don't want to spend an extra $1,000. So this is what he's talking about, that sales professionals are seen as deceptive. And then they talk about, he goes down to the bottom. He says, for what it's worth, I've been a high school teacher for 17 years and a realtor for almost 6. And my experience, on average, there's no reason why a teacher ought to be trusted more than a realtor. Yes, I agree with that, because we are both in the education and teaching business. So Brian, thank you for that comment. That gives me hope that we're going to move up eventually. Tom says, honestly, too many hobby realtors are in the industry trying to screw people and make a quick buck. That is, if that's you, that's a bad look. If I have to be careful, because there's some very, 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 very good part-time real estate agents out there who really, really take it serious. I know agents who work at National Grid or for the state full-time, but they give 100% after work and on weekends, and they make sure they're just not trying to, let me sell something really, really, really quick and get the quick commission. But they are out there, and they are a part of the licensed community. So we just have to be very careful that if you are part-time, take it as seriously as you take your day job or your full-time job, and people won't get that perception. He went on to say the market is saturated with disreputable options, unfortunately. Plus, a ton of them lie and give themselves awards, self-proclaiming being the area's top realtors, etc. So, again, being very careful. There are a lot of awards out there, guys, and we know locally in the capital region, we have Breakfast of Champions. They have real good data and criteria to measure your success. There's real producers out there. The local magazine that celebrates successful real estate agents. And the great part that I really like about real producers is that they get recommendations from other realtors. Like, who do you think we should interview next? What other agents in the area do you think that we should keep our eye on? So this is realtors recommending realtors. But we all know there's a lot of bogus awards out there and bogus accolades out there and bogus, how should I say, advertisements or advertisements, however you say the word, that people pay for to get awards, to get their name in magazines. I think one is like called Top Agent Magazine and stuff like that. You know what? If you've done it, I'm not crapping on you. I'm just saying the public knows it too. You're not fooling anyone. The public knows a real award from a fake award. So just be careful, because even other agents will tell people that's a fake award. Or when people put billboards up and say #1 in the capital region, or television commercials, radio ads, #1, #2, top 10% of people know, people talk. So just be careful how you represent yourself. Because this guy, Tom, I know him well. He was actually a customer of mine. His ears to the ground. Okay. So he knows real awards and fake awards, and he keeps up with agents that are really doing the work in the field. So just be careful, because you're not really fooling anyone. So I just want to point that out. And don't pay for awards. I recommend you don't. All right. So this guy, Michael, he said, he started by saying the agent is paid by transaction, not counsel. And I wanted some clarification. I said, Michael, explain. He goes on to say, people trust those they pay for advice. Okay. He said like financial advisors, but the thing I want to say about financial advisors is financial advisors also get paid by persuasion and by making sure that we are in the right financial products for our future. So I would kind of pull them out, but I understand what he meant, that when you pay someone for a service versus not paying someone, and they solely depend on commission, some people may feel a little bit untrustworthy. That may feel a little untrustworthy, and they may feel that they can't trust you 100%, because your total pay is dependent upon commission. He goes on to say that real estate agents will gain trust when many agents give paid advice with no interest in closing. I don't know how we can do that. I'm trying to follow along. He said cheapskates and tire kickers will dislike the change, good riddance. But serious buyers will value and trust real estate advisors who get a good hourly wage for their advice. That's not going to happen. I don't think that will ever happen, but I kind of understand his point. He's saying people who don't depend on commission, just like some of the earlier people said, will no doubt will likely be trusted by a segment of society. All right. Um, Here's someone who said, I would say anything in sales, you're dealing with the trauma of people dealing with very selfish, deceitful salespeople, like The Wolf of Wall Street. So if you remember that movie, selling stocks, we all remember he started with the penny stocks and he got on the phone. He had fake sales calls. And there are salespeople out there. Like when you see, um, like I said, some of the people who, like we cold call and we do have scripts, but those scripts should really be used to give us a comfort level of what to say, overcoming objections and things like that. But if you're just lying on the phone and you're doing that Wolf of Wall Street thing, or you're too much celebration on Facebook, it's almost like saying, "Got another one." You know what I mean? So we want to make sure that that's not the image that we portray. That once we get a sale, got another one, and who's next? I don't like the term "who's next" because it almost feels like I got one sucker. Who's next? So um, I like that people say things like, just help one of my buyers buy a home, and looking forward to helping the next. But when you say things like "who's next," it's just not a good feeling. So just wanted to put that out there. I wouldn't say that personally, and I really hope I'm not offending anyone. I love my colleagues and people who I work with in the field, but maybe this would just help you present yourself in a better light. All right, here's a good one. This one is a real estate agent. He says there are untrustworthy pieces of out there, beep, in every profession, and there is. I don't care what you're out there selling or moving. Um, he said that's always been the case. Luckily, the cream usually rise to the top, making it easier to recognize the trash. He, thank you. He is so right that even when there's bad agents out there, the good ones, like some of you out there that I know, you're going to rise to the top, and people are going to say, yeah, I knew a shisty real estate agent, but my real estate agent is good. So thanks for saying that, Leon, because that is so true. The cream does rise to the top. Here's a good one. We make too much money in their eyes. Okay, so my broker said we can't talk about certain things, so I'm not. But that is the problem in society today when it comes to real estate. They think we make a lot of money and they think something's amiss. So when you do watch the Bravo and HTV shows, Selling Sunset and all that kind of stuff, they make it seem that way. They're driving Bentleys and Porsches and S coupes and Teslas, and they're wearing shiny suits and fine jewelry, and they're always made up 100%. Yeah, they make it look like we make too much money. Most realtors I know, most realtors I know are struggling month to month. I, I'm sorry if that's not you. I just got to say it. We're just like any other 9 to 5 worker trying to pay our bills, get through the month, get through the year. There's some very successful real estate agents out there, but it's only like the top 10%. The other 80, 90%, man, it's work. And we have to put 100% into this to feed our families, pay our kids tuition, pay for our high school or private school tuition. Some agents are even going to work at Stewart's or have part-time jobs to make ends meet. So no, it's not all shiny suits and shiny cars. We're doing our best. This is not even a Stanley. Okay. This is a fake one I got off Amazon for $19.99. I can't afford a Stanley. I got a kid in college. So um, that's not us. But that is the perception that we make too much money. So what am I saying? How you present yourself on social media. Are you only giving the highlights, or are you being more vulnerable about your income? People need to know that we earn a living, that we work hard. It can't be all flash and bing. Not when you're talking to people that are looking at 150 to $200,000 houses, and you're out there showing your crib, with the granite countertops and 25 to 3,000 square feet on big lots and stuff like that. We can't throw that in their face because they're like, why should I use you when you're all bling and I'm struggling to make, especially with the interest rate, a $2,000 payment on a $220,000 house. Some people don't even have money for the down payment and closing costs, and we're flashing and blinging. Just got to be very, very, very careful how we market ourselves. So I personally try not to do that. What else we got? We got Stephanie. She goes, at least you're not Congress. Yeah. So Congress was pretty low on the totem pole. They were last, dead last. People not trusting Congress. And we also beat lawyers. And I want to say something about lawyers. And um, excuse me, a lot of the real estate agents who are watching this or going to watch this, we have some extremely good relationships with our real estate attorneys. They're awesome. They go to the ends of the earth for us, and a lot of them don't get paid if the deal doesn't close. So they too are being disparaged on this list. So we want to be very, very careful that we don't we aren't proud that we're ahead of them. But I don't think that list is talking about real estate attorneys. They're probably more talking about litigators and people like that. But you know what? I know attorneys in all types of facets. So real estate, I'm sorry, attorneys, make sure that you're doing videos like this or talking up your industry so people change their perception about you. And by the way, I sold cars too. And I would never sell someone a POS that I thought was going to break down in a couple of days. All people in the sales industry, we need to do a better job of changing people perceptions about our business. To this day, I don't trust mechanics. I always feel when I pull my car into a mechanic or a shop where there's going to be brakes or tires, even windshield wipers, I'm scared to death of what they're going to tell me because I don't know cars. So I'm 100% dependent on what the mechanic tells me about my car. So people go in and hope and pray that they get out with $1,000. But when they tell you something like you're going to need a new engine, or we have to change out, some type of part, and it's going to be hard to get to, or your computer's busted, all you're thinking about is thousands and thousands of dollars. But anyway, Stephanie said about Congress um, that I think anyone not in the normal 9 to 5 um, same pay every week, believe those who make a living without the usual protocol thinks you're skimming somehow. 100%. 100%. Um, they think that we're always on the take, that somehow, some way. And she goes, they don't know that you have to pay taxes, that we have to pay insurance, medical, etc. We're just like every other family. They don't know all the work that goes behind the scenes. And that's probably a good thing, she says. It shows that you're making the process easier for them. We make the job look so easy sometimes because we do it every single day, every minute of the day. And sometimes we do make it look easy. But I think the more we show our client that their job one, that we really, really care about them, we communicate with them that we are earning our money. I told one of my clients today, she lives in another state. She's in West Virginia. I'm trying to sell her. I sold her house in Clifton Park. And I went to the house today to help her pack up some stuff for her because I'm going to send it to West Virginia to her. Because she was going to get in her car and drive all the way back to get a box full of stuff. I'm like, no, 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 no. I'll go. We'll do video. We'll look at the things you want. I'm going to pack it up and I'm going to send it to you. And I also said I'm going to bring my snowblower to your house on Saturday because the driveway's full. That needs to be cleared out before closing. But it's little things, and I'm not bragging on myself. I'm just telling you that when you do things for clients, let them know what you're doing. Don't brag on it like, look what I'm doing for you. But just kind of just put it out there like, hey, I need to snowblow the driveway because the inspector's coming, or I'm going to hire a plow guy to come out and clean up because the appraiser's coming and I don't want him to tread through snow. Just by saying it like that, you're not saying, look at me, look at what I'm doing for you, but you are letting them know, hey, I'm back and forth at this house and I'm going to help you out. All right. I don't want you to drive all the way from West Virginia to pack up a box of stuff and take it back. All right. Um, Also, Stephanie has said something about here is the house is $400,000. Why do I need someone to tell me it's $400,000? That reminds me of the agents where they say, oh, what information would you like on that house? And they go, well, just tell me what you know about it. And you go, well, it's $400,000. They're like, duh, I can see that. It has 3 bedroom and 2 bath. And well, don't tell me crap that I can see in the picture. Okay, I see the house on Zillow. I know that it has granite countertops. I know the square footage. I know everything that I can read online. Tell me something I didn't know. Like maybe I don't understand what's that in the back. Is that a vineyard back there? Or tell me, is that wetlands? Or where does the property line stop? They're looking for that kind of information. They don't need you to tell them that it's $400,000. So I thought that was awesome, Stephanie. Thanks for pointing that out because we can get caught up in that. Here's the kitchen, here's the dining room, and things like that. So just to make sure that we aren't doing that. All right. Well, here we go. John says, I think because it's such a big decision for people in a major milestone in their life, and it's a process that they might not feel confident about understanding totally. So they get this discomfort and lack of trust. And they're not going to trust you either. And real estate agents, we are actually the face of the transaction. So we're going to get blamed for everything, good or bad. If it's good, they're going to say, great job. If it's bad, then they're going to go, my agent was horrible. All of us out there, if you've been in this business any period of time, um, someone's going to fire their agent and then they're going to hire you. And the one thing that I pray you never do, because I don't, is talk disparaging about the last agent that you got that transaction from. If you're calling expired listings or something like that, I just think it's good. Make sure that you do not say anything. Oh, like, oh, she didn't even market the house properly, or oh, look what I'm going to do that she didn't do or he didn't do. No, because sometimes you're going to find out after you take that listing for only 10 minutes. Oh my God, no wonder. Now you're going to see. So it's not always the agent. So make sure that we're very comfortable with that, that we don't say things about other agents after we were fortunate enough to get a deal. Um, and his last sentence is huge. He goes, it's kind of like how people think that real estate agents get paid for doing nothing. Um, yeah, a lot of people do, so we have to be extremely careful with that. What am I doing here? No, I don't want to do it. Okay, so we're almost there, guys. We're almost to the end. So Bose was pretty long, but I highlighted a couple of things that Bose said. um, we should expect to be on the same level as accountants or financial planners. Do we present ourselves that way? We're sitting down at people's kitchen table. We're sitting down at people's dining room table. We're meeting their kids. We're petting their dogs. And now we're about to be the professional, the industry professional. We are about to be the consultant. Are we just meeting them at the house to unlock doors? Or are we actually consulting them about the home buying process? So that stood out to me. He says, there's a relatively low bar it takes to be a real estate agent. Pass a comparatively short class and a relatively easy exam. I can't say he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Anybody can get their real estate license. It's not like passing the bar. You know, anybody can be an insurance agent. All you got to do is pass the test and take the state exam. It's what you do after you get licensed that makes the difference. You don't stop education after you get your license. You have to do CE credits. You have to constantly read trade magazines, read trade websites, watch YouTube, go to classes, go to your broker's training. You have to constantly learn from experts, people who've been doing it a while. So if you get your license and your broker says, hit the streets, pal, that's just a bad look. You got to make sure that we are learning the job. And I think rel- no broker should let you out in the field until you've done some training. I know brokers across the country who has 2, 3, 4 weeks of training before you're even allowed to touch a customer. Role playing and script and overcoming objections and learning how to talk about real estate. So yeah, he's not wrong. A relatively low bar to be an agent. And then he said another highlight, for some, it's just a side hustle or a gig. That's unfortunate. He said a lot of good stuff in there, but I don't want to read. But he did talk about the code of ethics and things like that. That's huge. All right, so let's make sure that we are doing those things. All right. Manny said many agents exist. Few are truly working for the client. Anyone can list a property. The difference between selling and obtaining optimum value is the difference between a 4-star agent and a 5-star agent that is a good communicator, and a 5-star agent that is a good communicator. A poor communicator is a 1 or 2, and people love Chris. Thanks, man. I could have redacted that, but I said I'm not gonna. So thanks, Manny. But he said Chris is a 5-star agent, so appreciate that. Appreciate the kudos. But yeah, communication is everything. Talking to your horse like I am tonight, just making sure that you are getting people the information that they need. By the way, I call this a family, Fanley, for fake Stanley. And I got all my kids calling it families too because I bought them all one from Amazon because they wanted Stanleys, and that's not happening. And yeah, so that's kind of it. I had more, but this was already ran a little longer than I wanted to. I hope we were going to be done in like 30 minutes. But at the end of the day, what are we doing to change the perception about our industry? How can we get our industry to move up from here, the low, up to here with, we're never going to be as trusted as nurses or doctors. And someone made a good point. This is from, I think 2018. Okay. And here's the group. 1,025 adults were interviewed, and that's where we got these numbers from. So fast forward post-COVID. Not going to get political here, but fast forward post-COVID, after the Fauci, people are less trusting of doctors. I think that's going to move down. People are less trusting of pharmacists. So I would like to see a 2023. I didn't pull a 2023 because every time I pulled data, we were always at the bottom. So it didn't matter what year I pulled. But some of these other professions have slipped a little bit in trust. But people aren't as trusting of police officers as much, teachers, pharmacists, medical doctors. All these things are shifting, but real estate agents seem to kind of stay on the bottom, and we want to change that. All right, guys, listen, thanks so much if you joined me. This will be on YouTube and on the podcast. So I'm going to be sharing it again on Facebook. I'm glad if you joined me. Thank you. If you didn't, you will see it later. I will talk to you guys soon on the next Real Estate Happy Hour or the next Real Estate Happy Hour 7-minute segment where I interview who's who and the movers and shakers in the capital region. It's on YouTube. It's on Apple Podcasts. It's on Spotify, Amazon, wherever you listen to your podcast. You'll find me there. Like it, subscribe, and give me 5 stars for my effort, even if you don't like it. So I didn't like the damn podcast, but Chris is putting his face out there. He's being vulnerable, so I'm going to help him out. You guys take care. I'll see you on the other side. Have a good one. Take care, guys.